Boy, he's a nice one too. Oh, in the boat. Okay, today we're doing a speckled trout catch and cook. I got some speckled trout fillets, but the star is going to be hush puppies. Best hush puppies you'll ever eat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse my speckled trout fillets. Make sure there's no scales in them or any debris from the filleting. Let them kind of drain a little bit. Then what I do is I cut them in half lengthways. Gives you a more uniform sized piece of fish to cook, and it doesn't curl up like when you try to cook a whole fillet. I got a real big fillet like this, I'll make 3 pieces out of it. They batter better and they cook better cut like this. So once I get my fish all cut up, I like to make an egg wash with eggs, a little bit of milk, some Creole mustard, and some Tony Chachere's seasoning, which is a Creole seasoning. You can use any kind of seasoning you like or none at all. Tony's. So I'll whip this up real good. Put it in the Ziploc bag with my fish. Make sure it all gets coated good. Then I'll refrigerate this until I'm ready to batter it and fry it. Let's look at our ingredients for the hush puppies. Cornmeal, flour, baking powder, salt, Creole seasoning, can of cream style corn, a whole bunch of green onions, the jalapeno pepper, and an egg. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our green onions and our jalapeno pepper, and we're going to seed and dice the pepper and then cut the onions up real fine. Credit for this hush puppy recipe, but it's not mine. I found it in Martian Bayou magazine. So first thing we do is take our dry ingredients, a cup of cornmeal, cup of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, teaspoon of salt, and I add a tablespoon of Tony Chachere's. So we get all of our dry ingredients in a bowl and we'll kind of mix them up a little. So we got our jalapeno and our green onions all chopped up. Got our dry ingredients mixed in a bowl. We'll put these into the dry. Try to get them in the bowl and not on the floor. Not too successful. Then what I'll do, I'll make a little bit of a well in the center. Whip my egg up a little bit. Put my can of cream style corn in there. And then and stir it all together. So the batter's going to look real dry at first, but you refrigerate it and you keep it refrigerated while you're cooking, so it'll make a nice ball as you dip them. See how everything's starting to incorporate and get kind of wet? And then what I'll do is I'll also keep this refrigerated till I'm going to actually start frying when my grease hot. And I use a little cookie drop thing to make my individual balls. I like to fry my fish outside. Or does my wife like me to fry my fish outside? Who knows, huh? So once I get the cold fish out the refrigerator, been sitting in the bag, I'll drop these cuts into my batter. And you can use whatever kind of batter you like. This one here is kind of Louisiana fish fries, kind of heavy on the cornmeal, coarse cornmeal. Most of the times I'll use a lighter breading, but this is what I have today. So they all get coated good. Alright, my grease should be pretty hot, around 350. I'll start to drop a few in to see. Looks pretty good right there. I usually fry it about 5 to 6 minutes till it starts to float. Some people judge by. All depends on how you like. I like a crispy outside, but I still want fish to be moist inside. I don't like it dried out. That's another thing about cutting them into long strips like this. Pretty much the same dimension the whole length, and they cook real even. If you're cooking a whole fillet, you get the end of it dried out, the center still moist. It all depends on what you like. I just like this. So it's been about 5 minutes. The fish is starting to float. As you can see, it's a nice uniform golden brown. Nice crispy outside. What I like to do, let the grease drain a second. I'll put them on some clean paper towels. And I'll put a little bit of salt on them that'll melt in while they're still hot on the outside. And that's it. And then you just keep it rolling. Keep putting that good speckled trout down. So out of all the fish to fry, speckled trout is probably one of the best. Definitely a bayou favorite. Here's the star of the show today, the hush puppies. So you can see how the batter got. I let my grease recoup back to temp after cooking the fish. Got my batter. One batch of these makes about 30. Take my little scooper and just start dropping them in. If your grease is hot enough, they'll make the ball and float to the top before they stick to the bottom. So what's going to happen with these is as they cook, the moisture will cook out, and if it's not too crowded, they'll automatically roll over to the other side on their own. So if you watch these, they're starting to cook, they're finishing on one side, and they'll just roll over on their own. See how they're doing that? And then once they all roll over, let that side cook. And if they're too crowded, you can bop them with a fork or something a little bit to get them to roll. But they pretty much will cook to the right moisture content on their own. Then at this point, you just decide how well you like them. You want them real dark brown on the exterior, real crunchy, or do you want them light brown with a kind of a soft interior? Even if you cook them crunchy on the outside, the cream style corn will keep them moist in the center. It's a recipe from Martian Bayou magazine. I think they were called Shep's Puppies. Shep's Puppies. The only difference is I add the Tony Chachere's to give them a little more flavor. I've also taken this exact same recipe and diced up a pound of deveined shrimp and cooked them like shrimp bombs or shrimp poppers. That came out delicious. So you could probably put any seafood you like in them as a fritter. Shrimp, conch, crab meat, whatever you want. Alright, so I'm going to take this first batch out. Like I said, you can see how they roll over on their own. Cook to a nice golden brown. Same as I do the fish, I'll throw them in a pan. Dust them with a light bit of salt while they're still hot. And get some more down in the batter. Shake the basket a little, sometimes helps them. And you'll get one that'll stick every once in a while. Take a look at one of these ones that's finished. Look how soft and tender they are on the inside. Most people don't like hush puppies because they're just giant hard cornmeal nuggets. These are real soft and tender. And delicious. Another thing about these hush puppies is they microwave extremely well. The second day, warming up, unbelievably good. Alright, there you have it. The star of the catch and cook. Best hush puppies you'll ever eat. Alright, finished product of our catch and cook. Fried speckled trout, hush puppies, and french fries. Till the next video, get out there and go fishing.